Hello dear students, welcome to the revision session of web technology. We have already completed 4, 5, 6 units in detail, and from today we are going to start the revision of first 3 units. Okay, so in this session I am going to start with the first unit, that is web development process and front-end tools. So all the points will be covered in this session. You might have studied first unit thoroughly after your INSEM also, okay, as a practice of your INSEM exam, okay, and this session will definitely help you out to revise again, okay. So we'll start with the outline, okay. In this unit we are going to see the introduction to web technology, internet and world wide web, website planning and design issues, plus HTML. In that, structure of HTML document, HTML elements. In that we are going to see the headings, paragraphs, line break, colors, fonts, links, frames, lists, tables, images and forms. So all these things we have already seen. We'll again revise so that it will be clear idea for you to how to use these elements of HTML as well. Then we will see the difference between HTML and HTML5. Next point will be CSS, that is cascading style sheets. In that we will see the introductory part, then inserting CSS in HTML and CSS selectors. The next part will be XML. Again we'll see introductory part of XML, XML key components, transforming XML into XSLT, and then DTD. In that, schema elements, attributes, and last point will be introduction to JSON. So we'll start with the first point, that is web technology, and we'll see what web technology is. The methods by which computers communicate with each other through the use of markup languages and multimedia packages is known as web technology. So nowadays we observe that internet is everywhere. There may be hardly any mobile used by young generation which does not have any internet service. So number of TV shows and magazines are devoted in the internet, and this internet becomes a basic need of people. So if for some time internet gets disconnected, people really get very disturbed and nervous, just like some big problem get arise, right? So the internet is a need of today's world, and up till now we have used internet for various purposes, but in this subject we will learn, and we have also gone through many technologies actually, and we'll see what the internet can be, or how the internet can be used into day-to-day life, plus how that can be used in web development, okay. So we'll see the first point, that is web technology, okay? So web technologies list is so big, right? So the website is made up of number of pages. Like simply a website is a file which is accessible anywhere in the world through internet. So websites are really useful, created for commercial purpose, and depending upon their prime purpose, the extensions are also used, like .com, .org, .net, okay. So these are some web technologies that are listed below, like HTML, XHTML, CSS, XML, JavaScript, VBScript, document object model, DHTML, Ajax, C4X, WML script. So many things are there that are based upon web technologies. So you can see all these things are making up the internet and web development that we are using today. So before starting we will see the internet and World Wide Web. So internet network and World Wide Web. So internet we have seen just now that it is nothing but a global system which consists of interconnected networks of computers, and these computers use internet protocol, that is TCP/IP, to link devices through the world. And it is a network of networks which contains various types of networks like private, public, government, business and academic, from local to global scope. So this internet is seen, and World Wide Web, it is uh, simply pronounced as web sometimes. It is a way of retrieving information over the internet, and World Wide Web or the web is a model of information sharing which is built up on the top of internet. So we can see the internet is essentially a global network of computing resources, and you can think of internet as physical collection of routers and circuits as a set of shared resources, right? So from this way the web becomes the protocol based thing, or the it, web page holder. Okay, so it is holding so many web pages at the same time. So internet based services there are many services, but few of them are listed here. So email, telnet, FTP, usenet news, world wide web, these are internet based services. Again I am clarifying internet and world wide web. So internet is a global system which will transmit the messages with the help of some protocol, and that protocol should be mainly used is TCP/IP. And the World Wide Web is a simple way of exchanging information that is built on top of the internet. Okay, it will transmit the data over the internet, so it is internet based service. Okay, so website is made up of number of web pages, and these web pages, which are also known as web documents, are interconnected with each other with the help of hyperlinks, right? So the World Wide Web, it can hold the technical definition as all the resources and users of the internet that are going to use the hypertext transfer protocol. And in simple terms, a World Wide Web is a way of exchanging information between computers on the internet. So simple words, the World Wide Web is internet based service. And next we'll see what is HTTP. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and this is the protocol that is being used to transfer hypertext documents that makes the World Wide Web possible. And this HTTP is a standard web address, such as google.com is called a URL, and here the prefix HTTP indicates its protocol. Then URL, actually these things are well known to you, but then also we are revising so that you can get the definition of that particular things. Okay, you know what these things are playing the role, but getting the definition will help you the exact words or exact mapping of particular words that are making up that particular things. So we'll see URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, and it is used to specify addresses on the World Wide Web. So URL will have any format like protocol, then host name and other information separated by slash. So the protocol is followed by a colon and 2 slashes, and then the domain name. Okay, so this is the standard protocol syntax. And the domain name is the computer on which resource is located. And then what can be a website? So website is a collection of various pages that are written in HTML markup language, and page available on the website is called a web page, and first page of any website is called as home page. Okay. Then what is a web server? So web server, the every website sits on a computer known as a web server. Okay, so this server is always connected to internet, and every web server that is connected to internet is given a unique address. Okay, website sits on web server, okay, computer, and that is known as web server, and this server is always connected to internet, and internet will give a unique address to each web server. For example, 68.178.157.132. So this is unique address provided to some web server. So when you register a web address, also known as a domain name, such as tutorialspoint.com, okay, the well-known site, you have to specify the IP address of the web server that will host the site. So examples of web servers are Apache Tomcat, IIS, and Glassfish. Then what is web browsers? Web browsers are softwares installed on a PC, and to access the web you need a web browser. So examples of web browsers are Netscape Navigator, Microsoft Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Chrome. Okay, so all these are examples of browsers. Then what is ISP? So ISP stands for Internet Service Provider, and they are companies who provide you service in terms of internet connection to connect to the internet. So you will buy a web server from any internet service provider, and this space will be used to host your website. So examples of ISP provider can be Reliance, so mostly known company now for providing that Jio cards, and Airtel, BSNL. So all these are internet service providers. So this is the list of technologies that can be used. There are client side technologies, few are server side technologies, and some are more advanced technologies that can be play role between all the two technologies, that is client side plus server side. Okay, they will carry out the communication between these languages. So client side technologies include that HTML, CSS, JavaScript, VBScript, okay, then XHTML, Flash, WML, etc. Whereas server side technologies that include ASP, PHP, Perl, JSP, then ASP.NET, some MySQL, right? And some advanced technologies are made up of XML, XSLT, RSS, then XPath, XQuery, WSDL, okay, and REST. So these are the protocols. Okay. So all these technologies are made for providing a perfect web service to the user. So how to choose a technology? So choosing a technology, it might be client side or server side or any advanced technology. That depends on few things. That is what is the type of content, who is your audience, who will modify the content, what are the future plans, what was the previous experience, and portability and data sharing. So all these points will make sure to choose which option should be made perfect for carry out the operations that are required by user or the client. So we'll start with HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and this is the language in which we write web pages for any website, and it is a subset of standard generalized markup language, that is HTML, for electronic publishing, and the specific standard used for the World Wide Web. And if there is HTML or you are talking about website, that means the hyperlink also comes into light. So hyperlink, or simply a link, is a selectable element in any electronic document that serves as an access point to other electronic resources. So typically when you click on hyperlink to access the linked resource, so that a familiar hyperlink will open that might include any web page or the buttons, icons, images and collection of all these things. Okay. Then web domain names and extension types. So domain name is a part of your internet address that comes after www dot. Okay, for example www.tutorialspoint.com. The domain name here is tutorialspoint.com. So some domain extensions are as it mentioned like .com, .net, .org, .us, .in that are based upon the country names, plus .biz, okay, that are purely related to business. So all are these business the domain extensions that can be used for any different purposes. Then website designing steps. So when you start to create your own website or any website planning, you have to undergo with few things that must be compulsorily added to website. Okay, so in that the first step can be information gathering, second planning, design, development, testing and delivery, and maintenance. So the first is information gathering. Okay, so in that what we will do on the website planning, so we will first define the target audience, we'll set goals and objectives, then the sitemap can be created here only, and we'll request an estimate and set a budget, and after that we'll define the roles and responsibilities. Then the planning. Okay, the planning phase also have the purpose or the set of goals that should be carried out. Okay, for example the different stakeholders having different roles in development process, like owner of the business, marketing manager. So all these things should be considered, who will play which role, and we have to make sure that every person in the team is well aware of his or her role and expectations from the user, from the role player. Then they should also be aware of with the deadlines and new development. So all this will be then collected into the good website. And then the creating content strategies, structuring your website, creating a mock-up, designing, all these things also came into consideration. Then after creating a successful site, then testing out will be a next point, and maintaining that site will be the completed point. Okay, so as the website is uploaded, it does not mean that everything is finished. Okay, now the work of maintenance gets starts as the website is ongoing entity which continuously represents the company. So this is maintenance is also a very essential phase of website designing. So we have to keep eye on any important aspects like the number of unique visitors of the site, and which pages are frequently visited on the site. Then maintenance work also includes the posting new content, monitoring security, getting feedback from the end users. Okay, so all these things are under maintenance category that should be properly maintained. Next, the next thing that can be considered for website design is designing issues. So we have seen what can be steps for planning any website. Okay, but they doesn't work out always simply as they are just saying. there are few design issues that should be considered or focused. Okay, so number of major technical issues which should be considered while developing a website, and they include like simplicity should be checked. Means there should be less animations and text or visuals. Identity, like web apps through design identity should be checked. Consistency, that is the uniform style and color should be there for the whole website or required part at least. Robustness, that is required function should not miss. Navigability, visual appeal, compatibility. Okay, so these are all things that are making the design issues should be technically considered. Okay, the browser compatibility, like it should be compatible on all the browsers, like internet connection types, operating systems. Then the web page should be properly displayed on different browsers like Chrome, Firefox, IE, and mobile compatible browsers like Safari or Opera Mini. So hence, while building a website, the web pages should be checked on all positive browsers and the operating system for compatibility also. So it's very important to test the pages on latest as well as older versions of browsers, because not all the site visitors may have latest version. Okay, so your focus should be on checking the website on both the browsers. That means on old version as well as on new version. Then next part is HTML. So with HTML, how that website works. So World Wide Web uses classical client-server architecture, and HTTP is text-based request response protocol. Okay, so HTTP will send a page request, it will get response from the server. Okay, the server will be running web server software that like IIS, Apache, etc. And here we can see the client running on web browser. So he will send the page request via HTTP to the server. Server will check in its software and database whether that particular page is present or what response should be given to the user, and accordingly he will again send that response to client via HTTP only. So this is the common procedure. Then HTML, it's a standard markup language for creating web pages that we have seen. It describes the structure of web pages using markup, and the HTML elements are building blocks of HTML pages. So elements we have seen, there are many like forms, tags, etc. So the HTML elements are represented by tags, and browsers do not display the HTML tags but use them to render the content of page. So how that tags are used or rendered, that we'll see in the next slide. Like here we can see there is HTML tag. So this HTML element is the root element, and without this your HTML script cannot get complete, right? It should be your opening script tag, right? Then the head tag, that this element contains the meta information about any document. Then the title tag holds the title of document. This h1 to h6 are the elements that define heading style. Okay, so h1 is the largest size of heading and h6 is the smallest. Then the body tag, this element contains the visible page content, and p, that is used for paragraph. So these tags or the element names are surrounded by angle brackets. Okay, and we just open the angle bracket, write the tag name and close the angle bracket. So this becomes a tag, and most of the tags are having closing tags as well. Okay, so there are few tags who does not came with closing tag, but most of the tags in HTML have ending tags as well. Okay, so HTML tags normally come in pairs like p, paragraph, and slash p, that will be closing paragraph tag. Then the first tag in pair is start tag, second tag is end tag, and the end tag is written like the start tag but with a forward slash before the tag name. So this is the HTML page structure. We can see the HTML is at the upper side, which is made up of this head section, body section, right? And head section can go with the title of page. Then in body section you can write down your headings or paragraphs or anything that matter or the content of body. And after closing body tag, you will close that HTML tag as well. So here is the list of HTML versions, like when the first HTML version was created, that was in year 1991, and now HTML5, HTML7 is also running on today's life. So how to create this HTML page? Okay, that we'll see. We just need to write the HTML using a notepad or text edit, and after writing in a notepad or text edit, we will save that particular file with the extension .html, okay, or .htm, and we'll set that encoding to UTF-8, and after that view that HTML page in browser. That will be automatically opened with the browser as well. So how to create the first HTML page? This is a simplest example of first HTML page. We have seen the doc type is defined first, and with HTML and head tag, the title tag is used. So title tag is holding content my first HTML page, and so here the title tag is closed, head tag is closed, and body tag is open. So in body tag we have just used paragraph, but a short paragraph, that this is some text, and close that paragraph tag as well, body tag as well, and HTML as well. So you can see the output, that is holding title as my first HTML page, that we have defined in title tag of head section, and that this is some text that that will appear on the web page. So that is as your output, or the after address bar it is displaying in the body content. So we can see in the example the title, it is the opening tag, and after completing that statement it is close tag. Okay, so that is closing tag. So any HTML element consists of opening tag and closing tag, and the content will be inside the tags. So this is the HTML header that is made in the head tags, and title is given in the head section. Then this is the body section. So how to define headings like H1 to H6? So H1 is the highest size of heading, and H6 is lowest or short size of heading. And how to use headings and paragraphs, that we have seen. Okay, so simply for heading we will use H1 to H6 any tag. Paragraph tags are used with P, okay, P tag, and sections like div and span are defined with div for a directory, and span. Okay, so all these things we have studied with example, and like text formatting is also available with this HTML tags. Like if you want to write in bold, so you can define that text with a bold, that is B tag, and if you want that underline, then you can use in angle bracket small u and close that tag as well. Okay, so there are so many formatting options that you can try on your own site with the help of HTML. And the text formatting example is also given here, that how the text can be written in bold, in italic, Okay, and that uppercase and lowercase style plus subscripted text is also used here. And then the hyperlinks are used to link a document like on the same server of in the same directories. At that time we will use the anchor tag, that will start with a, and href, that is h hyperlink reference. Okay, and that will be holding a document file that should be on same server in the same directory. Then link to a document called some .html extension file with a .html extension on the same server in the parent directory, that can also be called with the help of slash path. Okay, so that examples are shown here in the diagram, you can see. Okay, with the blue line shown how to use that hyperlinks in with the anchor tag. Okay, then links to same document example is provided, that also we have seen. Then including images, so image src tag is used, and you can provide that image path so that image will be displayed on your site. But the most important thing, image must be present and it should be saved with the same extension that is provided in your image source path. Okay, so here in image src tag, the src is location of image file. Then alternative can be used for substitute text or display, like if because of any reason the image is not displaying, or it is breaking, at that time you can use the alternate text, so that you will have an idea about what image was there. For example, you are displaying an apple image, you can write the alt text as apple, so that the user will understood that this image was of an apple that is getting break. Okay, so this is the image source and alt tags. So there are so many tags like height, width, border that can be used comfortably with the images tag. Then comes the ordered list. How to use that ordered list? For that you need to write OL tag. Okay, and in OL tag you will define the type. Okay, that type will be like one. You want to define the list with whether 1 2 3 as numbers, or ABC as alphabets. The alphabets can be uppercase or lowercase. Okay, and the numbers can also be Roman, or simply like I, 2I, that can also be listed. Okay, so how to define and how to use that things, that also we have seen. Okay, so after starting your OL tag, you need to start remaining contents, or the list of contents with li tag. Okay, and after completing list, again close that OL tag that was opened at the start. Okay, then definition list, that is DL. So for creating definition list, the DL tag is used. The definition list defines the pairs of text and associated definition, and text is in DD tag. So definition will be in DD tag. Okay, then the list example is also shown, like if you want to use numbers, the type should be defined as 1. If you want to don't want to display any numbers, just want to throw bullets, then you will put the type name as bullets, like ul type equals to this. If you are providing that, it will display as the bullets, like circular bullets, and it will list all the things that are provided as list in the document. Okay, then HTML table tags we have seen that defining table we will use table tag. For defining header cell in table, the th tag will be used. For row, the defining row in table, tr tag will be used. Okay, so again there are variety of tags present in HTML for creating table. Then how to use those tags, that also we have seen in with the HTML example, like the table is started with the width 100% and border equals to 1, background color yellow. Okay, so you can use so many things like text formatting as well in table. Just you need to include proper tags. Okay, so here you can see the border is a tag also, attribute actually, and it is holding value as 1, so that 1 defines the border of your table will be of size 1. If you want to use double size, then you need to provide the number border equals to 2, and the bg color, that is background color, is used. Okay, so that can also be used. Then after that, table row we have used. So each table row is having name, last name, first name and age. Okay, so for that the first row will be holding the things that come under first name, then last name and age. So that is defined, and after that the entries for user are made. So all these things also we have learned with explanation. Then columns and row span are used entities. Okay, so col span and row span are used for combining any two attributes. Okay, so col span defines how many columns the cell occupies, and the row span defines how many rows the cell occupies. Then the how that col span is used in example, that is also we have seen. Just we need to define col span equals to 2, 3, whatever number you want to span with the columns or row span. Okay, then row span example is also given, and the example with style, like if you want to use row span plus in the next cell, you just want to go on in the normal style, so that can also be used. And this we have seen with this another example of row span with HTML tag. Okay, with the tag style. Okay, so in style tag we can see there is th and td used. Okay, that is table data. For table data we have used padding. Okay, so how that padding is used, you can see in the output, and text align is left. Okay, so if you are defining the text alignment left, you can see here in the second column all the things are written at the left side of cell. Okay, so these things can also be achieved with the help of many variety of this HTML tags. Then complete HTML tables. Okay, so that things that are used in tables, like thread denotes the table header and contains th elements instead of td elements. T body denotes the collection of table rows that contain varied data. T food, call group, and call that defines the columns. Okay, so all these things are related with HTML table. Then we have seen the HTML form. If you want to make a form with the help of HTML, that can also be made. Okay, just we need to define the form element, and the collection of other elements that fit inside form need to be executed. So form elements are different types of input elements like text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, submit buttons, and many more. So how to use it into HTML and simple HTML file, okay, that can also be seen with this HTML tags. Then the input element is most important form element like text, password, submit, radio, reset, checkbox, button, so etc. are things in input element. And HTML5 input types like color, date, date, time, local, email, month, number. So there are so many added new input types in HTML5 that instead of that basic HTML types. Okay. So if you want that input type text, that you will define as type, like input type equals to text defines one line text input field, and how that can be used, that we have seen. So in example we can see we have created first name and last name in the form, and for that first name and last name we are using type text. So text box is displayed with the name, first name and last name. Okay. So for including password we will use the input type as password, so that password character will be masked, or that will be shown as asterisk or any circles. Okay. So all these things we have seen as input type of HTML, like submitting the form, resetting form, buttons, okay, that which button should be used, or how to use this button, simple button or any radio button. Okay. So if there are select only one of limited number choices, then we will use radio buttons, otherwise simple button for submitting that can be used. Checkbox if there are multiple choice or zero or more options of limited number of choice, so at that time we can use checkboxes. Okay. Then there are many HTML attributes that also we have seen, like value attribute, read only attribute, disabled, size, max length. Okay. So all these attributes are also seen with example in detail. Then the select element with drop down menus, like the select element just define drop down list of values, like if you want to display the cars, then there can be many options of cars, like it can be Audi, Volvo, flat, or anything. Okay. So that you can list out in your menu with the drop down list or select element. Okay. Then element with multiple selection, that can also be used. Okay. So the example you can see here, I have just used select name cars. Okay, only array I have passed. In this second example you can see select name cars and size is provided as 4 and multiple. So those number of multiple choices can be selected as select element. Okay. Then text area, how to occupy the text area and how much text area you want to give as space to user. So all these things can be monitored with the text area element. Then how to use that HTML form, or how to combine all these things or all these inputs in a single form that we have. Then that how that HTML form will be as output, that also seen. Then HTML frames. So HTML frames that are mostly used to provide a way to show multiple HTML documents in single web page. So these frames or the page cannot be split into separate views or frames horizontally and vertically. Frames were popular in early ages of HTML development, but now their usage is rejected because many new options are available now to come over with on these frames. Then how to use that frame tag that we have seen. Then the thing came with HTML and HTML5 difference. Okay, so as differential points we have seen the HTML is just a doc type declaration, like holding as doc type HTML public, and that link will be given by user. But in HTML5 we'll just define or declare the doc type in simple angle bracket exclamatory mark doc type HTML text, and that is enough for HTML5. Then another point as a difference between HTML is the character encoding. Okay, so in HTML the character encoding is longer, whereas in HTML5 it is shorter and simple. And meta charset used in HTML5 is UTF-8. Then audio and video are not part of HTML or HTML4 up to HTML4. After HTML5 the audio and video parts were started to work. So there are so many things like HTML5 use cookies and provides local storage in place of cookies. Okay, so all these things are seen in the difference points of HTML and HTML5. Then the next part was started as cascading style sheets. So now we have learned how to make the site, how to use tags, how to use any elements, how to use table, and in table also how to do formatting. So all these things we have came up with example. So we are perfect in that, but then the thing is how to format it so that it can be used for better attraction from user. Okay, so for helping this out, the cascading elements or the cascading style sheets were came into focus. So those cascading style sheets that are fondly referred as CSS, they are simple designing language intended to simplify the process of making web pages presentable. Okay, so this CSS totally focus on look of that website. It also handles the look and feel part of a web page, and using CSS you can control the color of text, style of fonts, spacing between paragraphs, then how to use the text or the style of fonts, then how to use the column size and background images or colors. Okay, so all these things are related with CSS, that is cascading style sheet. So many advantages are there of CSS, like it saves time because it is providing you a very unique way to cascade your own things with the CSS. Then advantages of CSS bring out some properties like CSS saves time, and page it loads pages faster way, and easy maintenance is there. It is superior style to HTML5 or HTML, and the global web standards are used in it, plus offline browsing and platform dependable. So these are some advantages of CSS. After that we have seen that CSS3 modules. In that the selectors box model, background and border, how these things are used that we have seen. That image values and replace content, text effects, 2D 3D transformations, animations. So all these things we have seen as CSS3 modules. Okay. Then that CSS syntax we have seen, like CSS compromises of style rules and that are interpreted by the browser and then applied to corresponding elements in the document. So that style rules of CSS are made up of three parts, like selector, property and value. Selector is an HTML tag at which a style will be applied, and this could be any tag like h1 or table. Then property, that a property is a type of attribute of HTML tag, and simply talking, all HTML attributes are converted into the CSS properties, and they could be color, border, etc. And the third rule or the third part of CSS is values. Okay, so the values are assigned to properties. For example, color property can have value either red 2 or hash f1 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 etc. So how the syntax is used, that also we have seen, like selector, declaration part, property part, values part. Okay. Then how that selectors can be used, like the element selector will select element based on element's name. For that you can just select all paragraph elements on page, like anything that are covered in paragraph. So all these things are used with CSS selector. For example, we can see there is a text align as given as center, color defined as red. Okay, so we can see what will be the output as color is given red, that is defined in red. Then again we have seen the types of selector, like ID selector, then class selector. We have seen the example in it. Then that grouping selectors are also used. If you have elements with the same style definition, then we can use that CSS selector, that is grouping selector. Then how to use that CSS in HTML, or how to insert CSS in HTML. So that also we have seen, like there are three ways to insert CSS in HTML. So first is external style sheet, second is internal style sheet, and third is inline style. So the external style sheet, with this we can change the frog of an entire website by changing just one frog. Then how these external style sheets, then internal style sheets are used, that we will see. So the external style sheet here is having head section, and the link is provided as link relation, and the type is text or CSS, and the link is also provided. So we can see there are so many things that are defined with style sheet of CSS. Then we have gone through the examples of external style sheet, internal style sheet, and inline style sheet. Okay, so that in that the inline style or the inline style sheet, it can be used to apply unique style for the single element. Okay. So to use inline styles, add the style attribute to relevant element, and the style attribute can contain any CSS property. So this was about the CSS and its styles. Then the text related CSS properties also we have seen. In that the text will be like a color, font size, then font family, font weight. Okay, so all these things we have seen related to CSS. Then font style, as style it will style the font. Values will be used as a normal, italic or oblique. The text decoration is used. So all that's CSS rules we have seen. The next was shorthand font property. Okay, the shorthand rule for setting multiple font properties is same time. Okay, so that we have seen like font will be defined with a colon and italic, normal, bold. So and the pixel size is provided like 12 ps by 16 ps, and this can be used as the shorthand font property. Then the backgrounds, so we have seen how to use background image, okay, with the CSS text, that also we have seen. So for that we need to define background dash image colon URL, and that whatever text or picture you want to display, its name should be given. Then the borders we have seen. In that width and height also we have seen if you want to define it in the CSS. Okay, so width and height, how to use that also we have undergone via example. Then the XML. The XML is software and hardware independent tool for something and transporting data. So this XML becomes a very important software and hardware independent tool. Okay. So what this XML is made up of? It is a markup language that is much like HTML, and it was designed to store and transport the data, and XML was designed to be self-descriptive. So these are the things as introductory part of XML we have seen, and how that XML does not do anything to the script. We can see the here it is given as a simple example of a note is sent from one user to another, and we have used that like to and from here in the example. So we can say that the XML written in that tags is quite self-descriptive. So it has sender information, it has receiver information, then it has heading and a message body as well. Okay, so but still the XML does not do anything, it is just information wrapped in tags. Then we have seen the HTML and XHTML. So XML and HTML were designed with different goals. Like XML was designed to carry data with focus on what data, and the HTML was designed to display data with focus on how data looks. Okay, so the different points should be kept into mind. Then the XML is used for data sharing, data transport, platform changes, data availability, etc. things are used in XML. Then comes XML that is used for many things like XML stores, and it stores data in plain text format, and this provides a software and hardware independent way of scrolling, and transportation and sharing of data. So XML also makes it easier to expand or upgrade any new operating system, and new applications or business without losing element. And after that we have seen the XML example, like how it is defined with the question mark after angle bracket, and XML version we need to define. Then encoding is used, and encoding again is UTF-8. So how that file should be written and saved as XML first file. Okay, and second books example we have seen that according to category the book are defined in the script. Then the XSLT is seen in the XML format. Okay, so XSLT is extensible style sheet language transformation, that is recommended by the style sheet language of XML, and it is far more sophisticated than CSS. So XSLT uses XPath to find information in an XML document, and we can have many options for displaying XML with XSLT. So for that we need to create XML page plus XSLT page according to the design criteria. Then we need to link that XML page with XSLT page, and get coupon of browser. So all these things are for displaying XML with XSLT. And creating simple XML document, we have seen that we have created in class, and in that we are describing the student roll number, name and surname. And again the same is continued as the conversion criteria. Okay, so we need to define XSLT style sheet document for the above XML document, and to meet the following criteria, like page should have a little title student, it should have a table of students, then columns should have following headers like roll number, first name, last name. So there are so many things that can also be done with CSS. Then how to create that XSLT document according to design criteria, that we have seen. And linking that particular document to XML document, that also we have seen with XML style sheet type equals to provide the type, and href equals to students of XSL. So this link is given as the XSLT document to XML document reference link. Then viewing that XML document in IE, that is the last step, and that also we have seen. Then the output, how it will be displayed to user, that is shown here. Then the DTD, which includes schema, elements, attributes, that we have seen. So DTD is simple, a document or type definition, and it defines the structure and the legal elements and attributes of any XML document. So with DTD, the independent groups of people can agree on a standard DTD for interchanging any data, and an application can use a DTD to verify that XML data is valid. So this is as introductory part to document type definition, and we can see the structure of this DTD and the legal elements and attributes of an XML document is a DTD. Then how that internal DTD is used, that we have seen with example, and we have also executed this examples in the sessions, practical section. And the internal DTD explanation we can see from is how that doc type node defines the root element of document. Then element node, that is exclamatory, and that element has it defines the note element, but must contain 4 elements like to, from, heading, body. Okay, so these things we have used in DTD explanation. Then the how that external DTD is used, that example we have seen. For a simple XML file, we have just defined the doc type node and system equals to node.dtd. Then we have seen that code for node.dtd file, and there we have used CSS files and DTD files. Then building blocks of XML documents as per the DTD. So what they can be? They are elements, attributes, entities, and remaining as PC data and C data. Sorry, P data and C data. So PC data means past character data, and C data means character data. Okay. So then we have seen the elements of that XML. In that the elements of XML can be defined as the building block of any XML document. So elements can behave as a container to hold text, elements, attributes, media objects, etc. Then we have seen the attributes that are used in CSS, okay, plus the entities. Then the advantages we have seen as the introductory part to JSON, and JSON is JavaScript object notation, and it is a syntax for storing and exchanging data. So why that JSON is used, that we have seen, like since the JSON is a format in text only, it can easily be sent to and from the server and used as a data format by any programming language. Okay, so we can see that the JSON format is text only, and it can easily send to one from many servers, and uses it as a data format by any programming language. So if you receive data from server, then you can just receive data from server, and JSON format can be used. So you can use it only if any other JavaScript object is there. Then there are few syntax rules that should be followed while using the JSON, and JSON syntax is derived from the JavaScript object notation syntax, and data is name or the values pairs. Then the data is separated by commas, curly braces are hold objects. So all these things that must be executed properly, that should be used. Okay. Then we have seen the JSON values like a string, number, then null, boolean. Then JSON values as then the JSON values like single, string, multiple, then object like a JSON object, an array, a boolean, null. So these are the values that must be one of the following, or that the things we have seen above. Then object syntax. In that we can see, as an example, there is one JSON property, and many things are provided as elements like a name. So name is John, age, the value is 30, car is simply null. So all these things are used using objects in JSON. And that was the last session of your first unit, that how that object syntax is used, and this makes out the total output of your first unit. So in that we have seen how that HTML is used, how formats provided by HTML are used, that CSS, okay, for making your site as in presentable format, how that CSS can be applied with different elements that we have seen, and the new language for defining the syntax, and a few added tags. That XML we have seen, and at the last we have came across the JSON introductory part. Okay, so we have seen very greatly as what are the things that are included in web development process and front-end tools. Okay, so this was about first unit's revision. Okay, so just go through this revised PPT, and please make your preparations very well, so that you will be it will be beneficial for your exam, and you will get a better achievement in your examinations. Okay, so till that, just revise all these things. We will meet in next session. Okay, so take care. Thank you.